Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. You're listening to Harrison Wolf. Lately, I've been learning more and more about botany. I've been enjoying myself so much that I stopped spraying those chemicals in my basement. I'm letting the mushrooms grow. I took my favorite, the largest one, I call him Charlie, down to the museum. They were not interested. But it's their loss. What do you suppose they meant by scientifically irrelevant and uninteresting anyways? That's how the expert described the fungus I grew in the depths of my home. Now, I may be biased, but I find it hard to see how that's not scientifically interesting. I don't want to get into a whole thing here. Maybe I do. Find out after this. Who decides which plants are the important plants? The experts, huh? Well, just remember, folks, you can learn a lot of things from an expert. I sure have, but they can't tell you what's important to you or why. Sometimes a mushroom just matters. This one is for Charlie, the irrelevant mushroom, and all the unappreciated plants out there. I see you. Botany, irrelevant mushrooms. Charles Brown Shroom. Though cruelly shut down in their efforts to be recognized as officially interesting, this slimy specimen boasts vibrant brown coloring and a really strong smell. They may be irrelevant, but they're an underdog, and they're the best friend a guy could have. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. I've heard from some of my most talkative sources that Bungle Technologies are toying around with dinosaur bones, looking to make themselves a genuine prehistoric reptile. Will this succeed? Is this the end? Will it be just like that Roderick Cushion film? Don't worry, people. Serious crackpots, such as myself, are on the case. Welcome to the 2 Point Radio Vault. Today, I'm Harrison Wolf, looking back, a little older, a little wiser. Who could forget the day my mother delivered cookies to the station in a mostly unlabeled package and sent the recording booth into lockdown? I still have some of those cookies somewhere. Enjoy the clip. You're listening to 2 Point Radio. I'm Harrison Wolf. A shadow hangs over today's show. The shadow of a mysterious package that's been sent to me at the station. Could this be the forces at be finally quietening this beacon of outrage? Is what sits before me some kind of biohazardous response to all of my dissent? We'll find out later in the show. I saw those spherical bozos from the Orb Foundation selling some kind of beverage the other day. This, like everything involving the Orb Foundation, surely signals disaster. I'm just not sure how yet. Keep your edges, people. You don't want to get smoothed over. This is Harrison Wolf. It's wild to think that in times gone goodbye, I'd do a show, the broadcast would end, and it would be gone. Nowadays, my voice is showing up in all sorts of places, at all sorts of times. Kinda trippy. But I hope you're having a good day, wherever and whenever you are. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. This is the Wolfman, Harrison Wolf, howling at the moon on 2 Point Radio. Today's show is a long, clear night, and we've got some work to do. See if you can howl along to this next song. I dare ya. Sometimes there's nothing like finding your most inconsistent flashlight and taking a drive to the woods. Last time I found a wooden door in a clearing that took me to this twisted carnival in another dimension. It was a haunting monstrosity that rejected nature and all it stood for. I really enjoyed myself. I'll be going back next week for another awesome, unsettling time. All right, it's time for Factual Opposites. Let's turn the truth upside down just to see what happens. This is from Luther in the Krakenbush sewers. If you play the cheesy Gubbins advert in reverse, you can clearly hear undead spirits saying, Sneebug Yeesish. Let's hear that now. Huh, you can't deny it. He's onto something. What does that mean? I'll stay on this end, see if I can figure it all out. After this, our show's almost over, but my brain is still firing on its cylinder, thinking about that last factual opposite. Are the dead really talking to us through subliminal messages? Do cheesy Gubbins contain the secret to some kind of dimension-bending energy, a universal truth, or dimension in which everything exists at once? It's hard to answer so many questions, but right now, I'd say probably yes. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. You're dialed into 2 Point Radio. I'm Harrison Wolf. Or am I? Things aren't always as they seem or how they sound. Why don't you think about what you know and what you can trust while you listen to this next song? Do I sound the same to you? Well, here's the story. I was kind of sick over the weekend, feeling a little dizzy, experiencing some headaches, producing much more light than usual. Doc told me I had lightheadedness. Next thing you know, they're unscrewing my head, replacing it with a new one. Still feeling out if they got the right model. We're back on 2 Point Radio, whoever we are. You're listening to the recently removed and more recently replaced face of Harrison Wolf. I'm supposed to read something from a listener now, but the paper looks blank. Must be my new eyes. Those mad scientists can take my words, but they can't silence my voice. False alarm. There are two sides to every story and every piece of paper. The question was on the back. Sorry about that, Michelle. I can read you loud and clear. Let's see. I don't have a question, but could you put a blank piece of paper on Harrison's desk and see what happens? Pretty freaky. I hope you got what you wanted. That's our show, folks. Time to ice my new face. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. 2 Point Radio. You're listening to the Wolfman, Harrison Wolf. Half man, half disembodied voice. On the radio, I technically have no physical presence, and that's just the way I like it. You can't stop what you can't find. More elusive radio. After this, time to hear from one of the Wolf Pack. This is from Chunk in an undisclosed location. What's the deal with fish? Some of those guys are crazy. They aliens or what? Hey, I like you thinking, Chunk. The ocean is a lot like another world. A dark, soggy, strange kind of world, sure. That's some sort of factually accurate. But, like all facts, we can only assume it's secretly lying to us. The only question is, what about now that we've uncovered fish as secret, soggy aliens? We can only ask, how far does all this go? Who else, walking, swimming, flying among us, could actually be from space? Dogs? Frogs? Those people from the Orb Foundation? You know me, I'm saying everybody. Think about it. We're almost out of time, but first I want to tie a bow on today's interplanetary proceedings. You ever seen a picture of the county, of the world? You know the ones. Well, where are we, my friends? That's right, we're in space. Aliens aren't just among us, they are us. Harrison Wolf, Planet Earth, signing off. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. How's it going, folks? Harrison Wolf, the deep voice of defiance, coming to you directly from 2 Point Radio. I'm gonna lay low during this next song. Hopefully they don't shut us down. All right, we're back, defying the odds and defanging the institutions of reason. Let's get to today's factual opposite. This is from Nevesley, near Camouflage Falls. Back when it was all no evidence and grainy footage, I totally believed in ghosts. But now the evidence is so good, it all feels phony to me. Way to swim against the tide, Nev. I couldn't agree more. Lately, the evidence for ghosts is being good. Maybe too good. Welcome back to the Harrison Wolf Power Hour, the most revolting show on radio. So far today, we've shown that concrete evidence of ghosts prove they don't exist. It's scary to think where we might go next. We're red hot, and I'm getting chills. And whose interest is this huge ghost hoax, huh? We'll unmask death itself after this. Okay, folks, I might have been munching my own gubbins on that one. Guess I got a little carried away. To tell you the truth, I have no idea who's behind this spirit conspiracy, but it's not going to stop me from talking about it. The end of my show, though? Yeah, that'll do it. This has been your daily dose of reality. Hope it went down smooth. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Harrison Wolf, broadcasting from between the cracks of the couch of society, only on 2 Point Radio. Today I got some tips for lying low and blending in. Why don't you make yourself scarce during this next song? Now for some of those survival tips I promised. If you're ever in a sticky situation, this move is sure to shake just about anybody. What you want to do is point to the middle distance in a direction of your choosing and shout, "Look, a bear." You see, they're going to start turning, looking around, saying, "Hey, where's this bear?" Meanwhile, you've fled the scene. Works every time. Welcome back. That first trick, the old crying bear routine, is for when it's already too late. But what about avoiding trouble? Well, how about using the shadows? A cloak of darkness has shielded many from harm and sun irritation. So stick to the shadows, move at night, and if necessary, take an umbrella or sun hat. That leads me to my final tip for laying low. Stay moving, like the wind or time. Be the loose orange on the deck of the ship of life. Keep it rolling. Above all else, you've got to trust that you know when it's time to go. See ya. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. 2 Point Radio. I'm Harrison Wolf. Who's asking? Sorry, you can never be too careful. And you can never be too carefree. Today we're shooting for somewhere right down the middle. Let's see if we can keep it together. I saw that Jumbo McNally character is buying up parts of the county for their latest scam, the so-called Jumbo Museum. Since when does some private fortress full of loot qualify as a museum? I mean, I got a shack in the mountains full of peanut butter, but you won't hear me calling it a restaurant. Let's hear from a member of the Wolf Pack. Today's howl comes from Plankman Crothers. Harrison, do you think it's possible we're missing signs of more advanced alien life? Well, sure. By definition, a more advanced civilization is probably going to operate on levels we can't even comprehend. Let me put it this way. You can offer a snail a slice of pizza, but it doesn't mean they know it's happening. Time's almost up, but I was just thinking about that last question from Mr. Carruthers. A lot of people have asked aliens for a sign. I myself have done it at least 5 times on this very radio station. But has anyone ever asked for a really simple sign? Because if you're listening, that'd be great. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Come in 2 Point County. This is Harrison Wolf broadcasting live on 2 Point Radio. It's time to hunker down in the radio bunker and take a deep breath. The air's unfiltered, and so is this next song. Today's dose of factual opposites may be tough to swallow. This is from Chauncey in Lower Bullocks. What if knights from the Dark Ages weren't wearing a costume? What if they were made of metal? Whoa. That's so crazy it has to be true. But if we did have a genetic relative made of metal, where'd they all go? We're back, still shaking the sense out of that last factual opposite. What if knights weren't men wrapped in metal, but real metal men? Robots built by olden daysers. But why? What were they for? Oh, I'm going to clear my mind. Run around the parking lot. Yeah, keep the gears turning. We'll be right back. Okay, so why exactly would a bunch of olden timers build a robot, huh? Here's what I came up with on my jog. Dragons. Where did all the dragons go? What if the robots were built to defeat the dragons and both sides were lost without a trace in an epic, fantastical war? Whoa, I got chills. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Hey, how are you? You're listening to Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Well, that was a little ordinary for my liking. I'll come up with something unconventional while you listen to some conventional music. Now, for something the news isn't telling you. One of my top sources believes that Bungle Technologies have been messing around under the county's surface, says they've had these networks of tunnels for years, some of them as big as a bowling alley. So, what are they doing down there? It ain't bowling, my friends. So what do you think Bungle are doing underground, huh? I want to hear it. Personally, I think they're detaching 2 Point from the Earth's core so they can take the county wherever they want. But where? I'll keep digging up the dirt. Hold on tight. We can't know what Bungle are doing down there. Heck, maybe they don't even know what they're doing. But one thing's for sure, the mole people know what's going on. It's a shame they can't listen to the show. Just another reason to restart work on my secret signal booster. Sure, it shocks me a lot, but I won't rest until I've reached the moles. Harrison Wolf, over and out. Harrison Wolf on 2 Point Radio. Botany. Edible plants. Mixed berry bush. I've been enjoying the vague flavors of mixed berries, or as I believe you say, mixed berries, for years. I'd always assumed that it was a range of berries from a variety of plants, and not one assorted bush. Sure, it was embarrassing to find out. But I'd rather know, you know? Botany. Man-eating plants. We often think about eating plants, but so rarely spare the time to think about plants eating us. From carnivorous carnations to big, hungry turnips. countless species of man-eating plants have been discovered. In fact, we've discovered some of them a few times. More than one expert has stood too close to their discovery and been literally consumed by the excitement, among other things. Marine life. Tropical fish. Clownfish. The jokers of the sea use their flashing noses to talk and tell jokes to one another. It can be hard to tell when those funny-looking fish are making a joke. They don't laugh, and I don't speak glowing nosefish language. But if I did, I'm sure they'd be even funnier. Marine life. Cold water fish. Forget your sandy beaches and warm waters. The sea is mostly a cold, vast expanse. It sounds pretty intense, but the fish never complain. They like it cold, and they like it wet. But that's about all they have in common. Some of them look like fish, just how you'd imagine. And some of them aren't fish at all. Go figure. Kinda makes you wish we had more going on up here. Prehistory. Prehistory mysteries. Cave paintings. There is imagery that appears time and time again in ancient art. Classics like fire, tree, and person standing sideways. But some prehistoric paintings tell more complex stories. We can't know if they were recording reality or diagramming their dreams. But one thing's for sure, we've gotten a lot better at painting. Prehistory. Prehistory mysteries. With most exhibits, it's clear, certain, and unambiguous what they are and what's going on. But where's the fun in that? Prehistory mysteries is a delightful catch-all used to describe items from the past, still puzzling us to the present clueless day. So please, spread your wings and speculate to your heart's content. Your guess is as good as mine. Marine life. It's like another world down there, under the sea. A dark, soggy, strange kind of world. Sure, that's some sort of factually accurate. But like all facts, it's actually lying to you on a more concerning level. You see, like all places, the ocean has its history, its peoples, its sudden goings wrong. I'm told, though I have not personally confirmed, that there are even creatures in the sea. Sea creatures. What do you know? You really do have everything in there.